Hazinu Hashemayim v'adabeira v'sishma haaretz if imrei fi. Hearken, O heaven, as I declare. Let the earth hear my mouth sayings. Yarov kamatar likhi tizal katal imrasi kisirim ale deshe v'chirvivim ale esev. Let my instruction flow like rainfall. Let my saying drip like dew. Let storm winds on verdure, like storm winds on verdure, and like raindrops on grass. Ki Shem Adonai Ekra Chavu Godel Eloheinu. When I pronounce the name of Hashem, give greatness to our God. Hatzur Tamim Pa'aloi Ki Chod Rachav Mishpat El Emuna Ve'ein Avel Tzadek V'Yasharhu. The Almighty's works are flawless, for all His ways are just. A God of faithfulness without injustice, righteous and upright is He. Shiches Loi Loi Banav Mumam Dor Ikesh Ufsaltol. Destructiveness does not affect him. It is a defect of his children, a generation warped and twisted. Hal Hashem, Hal Adonai, Tigmalu Zois, Am Navo, V'loi Chacham, Haloihu Avicha, Kanechu, Asecha, V'chonecha. It is with Hashem that you deal this way. Is it with Hashem that you deal this way? Base people lacking wisdom. Is He not your Father who made you His? He made you and gave you a base. Zechor Yamois Oilam Binu Shenois Dor V'Dor She'alavicha V'Yagedecha Zekenecha V'Yomnu Lach. Remember world history, study the generational epics, ask your father and he will relate to you, your elders and they will tell you. B'hanchel El Yon Goyim V'Hafridoi B'nei Adam Yatsev Gevulo Samim Lemispar B'nei Yisrael. When the Exalted One bequeathed nations, when He set apart the sons of man, He established the boundaries of people according to the number of B'nei Yisrael. Ki chelek Adonai Amai, Yaakov chevel nachlasai, because of Hashem's portion, His people, Yaakov the cable of His heritage. Yimsa ehu be'eretz midbar, uvchoisu, Yalel yishimoin, Yisoiv venhu, Yivoin nehu, Yitzreinhu, Ki'ishoin eno. He found them in a wilderness country, an arid, shrieking desolation. He encircled them around. He granted them understanding. He sheltered them like the pupil of His eye. Kinesher Ya'ir kino al gozalav, Yerachef Yifros, Kanafav Yikachehu, Yisaehu al Evraso. Like an eagle who rouses his nest, fluttering over his young, he extends his wings, grasps them, he bears them on his wing. Adonai Badar Yanchenu Ve'ein Imoi El Nichar. Hashem conducted them alone, without opposition by alien gods. Yarkivehu al Bamase, Aretz Vayochol, Tenuvos, Sadai, V'nikehu devash mesela v'shemen machalmish tzur. He shall transport them over the summit of the earth, where they will consume the produce of the fields, and He shall nurture them with honey of bedrock and oil of staunchest rock mass. Chemas bakar v'chalef tzoin im chelev karim v'elim b'nei vashan v'atudim im chelev kilos chita v'dam inav Tishtei chamer, butter fat of cattle and milk of sheep with the fat of lambs, and rams native to Bashan and goats with the fat of wheat kidneys, and the wine-flavored blood of the grapes will you drink. V'yishman yeshurun v'yivat shamanta avisa kasisa v'yitosh Eloha asahu v'nabil tzur yeshuaso. Yeshurun grew fat and rebelled. You grew fat, you have become thick and are covered with fat. He forsook the God who made him. He insulted the rock of his salvation. Yakni uhu bezarim besoy evos yachisuhu. They incited his vengeance with strangers. With loathsomeness did they spite him. Yizbachu l'shedim loy Eloha Elohim lo yida'um chadashim mekaroiv ba'u loy sarum avosechem. They slaughtered to ineffectual demons, gods they did not know, novelties lately arrived. Your forefathers were not awed by them. Sur yeladecha Teishi v'tishkach el mecholecha. The rock who bore you, you disregarded. You forsook the Almighty who delivered you. Vaya Adonai v'yanatz mikas banav uvnosav. Hashem saw and was angered by the spite of His sons and daughters. V'yomer astira fanai mehem erema achrisam kidor tapuchos hema banim lo Emun bam. He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end will be, for they are an upsetting generation, sons who are devoid of breeding. Hem kin uni below el ki asuni bahavlehem va'ani akniem below am begoy navel ach isem. They have incited me to vengeance with a non-God, have spited me with their idols, and I will incite them with a non-people. I shall anger them with a faithless nation. Ki eish kadcha Bapi v'tikad al sheol tachtis v'tochal eretz v'vula Vatlahet moste harim, for a fire shall blaze in my anger that will burn to the lowest grave. It shall consume the land and its produce and inflame the bases of mountains. Aspe alemo raos chitzai achalebam. I shall amass iniquity against them. I shall deplete my arrows against them. Mizei ra'av uchume reshef v'ketev mariri v'shem behemos. Ashalach bam im chamas zoichale afar, bloated with hunger and embattled with demons and slashed by mariri and the teeth of animals will I send against them along with the venom of dust crawlers. Michutz teshakel cherev umachadarim ema gam bachur gam basula yonek im ish seva. From without the sword shall decimate, and from within chambers terror, both lad and lass, suckling and aged man. Amarti af ehem ashbisa me'enosh zichram. I thought I shall abandon them. I would eliminate from mankind mention of them. Lule ka'as oyev agur pen yinakru tzaremo pen yomru yadenu rama veloy adonai paul kozois. Were it not for the enemy's amassed rage, let their oppressors estrange, lest they say our armed might has prevailed, and not Hashem has performed all this. Ki goy ovad Eitzois, Hema ve'ein bahem tavuna. For those nations squander counsel, they lack intelligence. Lu chachmu yaskilu zos av yavinu lachrisam. Were they wise, they would grasp this, they would contemplate their ending. Eicha yirdoiv, echad elef, ushnayim yanisu. Ravava imloi ki tsuram macharam v'adonai hisgiram. How can one pursue 1,000 and then 2 make 10,000 flee, unless their Almighty has dealt with them away and Hashem has delivered them? Ki loi chesurenu tsuram voivenu plilim. For their Almighty One is not like our Almighty. Yet our enemies sit in judgment. Ki megefen Sodom gafnam umishadmos amora anaveimoi. Ivne Rosh, Ashkalos, Maroros, Lamoy. For their grapevine is of the grapevine of Sodom, and from the fields of Amorah. Their grapes are grapes of bitter herbs, clusters galling to them. Chamas Taninim Yinam, Rosh, Besanim, Achzar. Like caustic serpents' venom is their wine, and like the gall of adders cruel. Halayhu Kamus, Imadi, Chasum, Boats Roisai. Is this not sequestered with me, sealed in my treasuries? Li Nakam, Vishilain, Le'es, Tamut, Raglam ki karov yom edam b'chash asidos lamoy. Vengeance is with me, and I shall administer retribution at the time that they shall stumble, for the day of their calamity is close by, and destiny speeds toward them. Ki yadin Adonai amoy val avdav yisnecham ki yirei ki azlas yad ve'efes atzur v'azuv. What Hashem administers justice against his people, and he will reconsider about his servants when he sees the power surging and none are structured or fortified. V'amar Elohimoi sur chasayu v'y. He shall say, where is their God, the rock on which they relied for shelter? Asher chelev zavachemoi yochleihu yishtu yain nesicham yakumu v'yazruchem yehi alechem sisra. They ate the fat of their sacrifices, they drank the wine of their libation. Let them arise and help you, let them serve as your shield. Ru ata ki ani hu ve'ein Elohim imadi ani amis v'achaye mechatzti v'ani erpa ve'ein miyadihi matzil. Now observe, for it is I am the one, and no God matches me. I put to death and make live, I smite and I heal, and no one can rescue from my grasp. Ki esa el shemayim yadi v'amarti chai anochi la'olam. For I shall lift my hand heavenward, and I shall say, I live forever. Im shenoisi barak charbi v'soyichez. The mishpat yadi ashiv nakam letzarai v'lim sanai ashalim. If I whet my saber to a gleam and hold judgment in my grasp, I shall wreak vengeance on my foes, and my spiders will I pay. Ashkir chitzai midam v'charbi tochal basar midam chala v'shivya meroish paros oyev. I shall make my arrows drunk with blood, and my saber shall consume flesh, for the blood of the slaughtered and the captives, for the original savagery of the enemy. Harninu goyim amoi. Ki dam avadav yekoim v'nakam yashiv l'tzara v'chipar ad masay amoy. Let the nations extol his people, for he shall avenge the blood of his servants, and wreak vengeance on his enemies, and reconcile his land his people. Vayavoy Moshe vadaber es kol divrei hashir hazais ba'aznei ha'am hu v'Hoshea ben Nun. Moshe came and he spoke all the words of this song in the hearing of the people, he and Hoshea the son of Nun. Vayichol Moshe ladaber es kol hadvarim ha'ela el kol Yisrael. When Moshe finished speaking all these words to all of Yisrael, v'yomer aleichem simu levavchem l'chol hadvarim asher anachim me'id bachem ha'yom asher Titzarvum as benechem lishmor lasos as kol divrei haTorah hazos. He said to them, focus your thoughts on all the statements that I am bringing to witness against you today, which you are to command to your sons to guard and to fulfill all the statements of this Torah. Ki lo davar rekhu mikem kihu chayechem uvadavar hazeh tarichu yamim al hadama asher atem ovrim es hayardin shama lerishta. For it is not a futile thing for you, for it is your life, and by this matter will you live long on the land that you are crossing the Yarden there to inherit. Vaydaber Adonai Moshe be'etzem hayom hazeh lemor. Hashem spoke to Moshe at the very height of that day, saying, Alei har ha'avarim hazeh har navoi asher be'eretz Moav asher al panei Yerechoi urei es eretz Canaan asher ani noisein livnei Yisrael la'achuza. Go up to this Mount Havorim, Mount Nebo, which is on the land of Moab that faces Yericho, and see the land of Canaan that I'm giving to Bnei Yisrael as inheritance. Umus bahar asher ata ola shama vehe asef alamecha ka asher mes acharon achicha b'chor hahar vehe asef el amav, and die on the mountain upon which you are going up and be gathered into your people, just as your brother Aaron died in Hor Hahor and was gathered unto his people. Al asher ma'altem bi besoch b'nei Yisrael b'mei merevas kadesh midbar tzin al asher lo kadashtem oisi besoch b'nei Yisrael. Because you are unfaithful to me amid b'nei Yisrael at the waters of argument at Kodesh and Sin wilderness, because of the fact that you did not sanctify me amid b'nei Yisrael. Ki meneged tirei es haaretz v'shama loy savoy ela aretz asher ani noisein lifnei Yisrael. For from afar will you see the land, but you will not come there to the land that I am giving to b'nei Yisrael.